Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of the Eddystone EC10. Now this is all about alignment, this one. First of all, I've got the power supply out of it. I'm going to replace it with a couple of leads here that I'm going to solder on and put the external power supply of 9 volts on. We'll save this hanging around the back of the unit and a little bit safer than actually 240 sitting on this plug, wandering around very close to the ground of the unit, which does go to the on-off switch. We'll set our supply up at 9 volts and now we'll solder a couple of leads on here. So it makes it a lot easier to just hook up and very safe. First of all, we will check the voltage going to the radio, 8.96 volts, exactly under load on that power supply. So we set our power supply the same at exactly 9 volts. We shall be right. Okay, next step, we'll set up our generator. Okay, well these alignment details, as per the diagram, we set the radio on its end, and these relate to the IF stages, which on this one is 465, so 465k for the IF alignment, and also setting our BFO, it says. So yeah, this is a new one on me, so we'll go through the book here, and first of all I'll set up my generator on 465 kilohertz. Right guys, now I'll run through what the manual's recommending here. So we're just doing it per the manual, which is a little bit different to the way I normally do them, but anyway, it's just, we'll do it as per the manual with this one. Short the oscillator segment of your tuning gang to ground. That was the start. So the oscillator is more or less taken offline. We then inject our signal, which is at 465 kilohertz, into the oscillator, one leg of the oscillator coil. Now, it says any leg of the oscillator, but that gives me the best signal. So that's the one I'm going into, which I haven't referenced this on the circuit diagram. So I'm just going off what the book is telling me with instructions on this one. Put it on band 5, which is broadcast band. Audio filter off, BFO off, AGC off. It recommends for our peaking, which is the meter we're using here, a very quick, easy thing, phones on the front. Now, if we turn this up, we do have a 400 hertz tone going in there. Now, it's modulated at 30% AM, and yeah, as I said, it's at 465 kilohertz. So we plug this in, we turn our gain up, and as you can see, we can go right up there. That's full gain, full RF gain. 3 IF cans here at the back. Just peak the IF cans. There is only the top slug. There is no bottom slug on these, so it's this one, and this one. The slug in here, very, very, very small, and I've had to use this little screwdriver with almost a point to get onto the slug. Got to be really careful because they're so easily broken. We go here, we just peak the meter with each one. So number, where are we? IFT3 there. Okay, there's the first one. So we'll start here, and if you guys can see this, we're going IF number 1. Peak him is going up, 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 up. There's the peak. Right there. Good. IFT2. And he's almost at his peak. Right there. IFT3. And there's our peak there. So we improved a little bit. We went from in around here across to here. So we've picked him up. So that's it for the IF. We'll now go on. We'll do a little bit more reading and be back and see what the next step is. Oh, and just a note on the other thing, the generator output at 465 kilohertz is only 5 microvolts. So very, very low RF, 5 microvolts. Don't need any more than that to peak this fella up. These things are sensitive. It's incredibly sensitive. So there you go, at 400 hertz on the tone, 30% modulation. Okay, we're doing our BFO. Now, what we do is we put our generator, according to the book, on 12 millivolts, quite a substantial signal, and keep it at 465 kilohertz. Now we set our audio frequency, well, it's to 400 hertz, but turn off our modulation. So we've just more or less got a carrier at 465, okay? Then we put our generator across, well, one to ground and one to the live end of the pot, not the wiper, not the ground, but the live end. And we turn him up. And before we do this, we set our BFO right to 12 o'clock. So that's right on there, right on 12 o'clock. Then we put this across the pot, which that is. We then turn him up. Now we can hear the tone of the BFO. Now it says what we do here is we adjust L17 for 0 beat. So more or less you can't hear a tone at all. Okay. And there, that little fella there is obviously the BF beat frequency oscillator. Okay. Now we've just got to get him in the middle for 0 beat. Right. We move him left and we move him right. Center, 12 o'clock, nothing. That's where we want it. So the BFO is now set, and what I'm adjusting there is our BFO knob goes up, down, and up again. And that is right on 12 o'clock. So that's adjusted. Okay, we'll move to the next step. Okay, they're asking us to use our sweep generator, so forth, but a lot of you guys haven't got that gear, so we're going to do it manually. Right, guys, let's do our oscillator alignment on this on all 5 bands. Okay, we're going to adjust band 1. We put our band selector on 1. Our tuning is right on 18 megahertz. Now, according to the chart, we adjust L12, which is this top one here, until we get a peak, and we find where our 18 megahertz is. And shouldn't be, there he is, there he comes. Right there. Okay, now we'll unplug the meter, and we'll also have a listen. And that's him. Right on 18 megahertz. We're going to the top end of the band, which is 29 megahertz. We then go back right up the other end of the dial. Way, way, way up here. Until we get to 29, and we should see a signal right there. And that's a little bit off. He's about 29.5. So that's right on 29. So now we adjust C39. So C39 is the top fella right next to that coil. And we adjust him to put the station right where we want it at 29. Right there. Okay. We'll unplug our meter. And that's certainly right on 29. If I can get this around to you. And then give you a little bit closer look on what I'm looking at here. You can see that we're spot on 29 megahertz. I mean, this isn't as accurate as a digital thing or anything, but this is the alignment procedure to get all bands with the needle pointing in, well, in the correct, the oscillator in the correct location. Okay, so next, if I can get that camera back where I had it. Okay, the next we select band 2. Now, we'll do the top, then we'll do the bottom. Band 2 top is 18 megahertz. 18 megahertz. So now we put our dial to 18 megahertz, and we should see a signal, and there he is. As you can see, he's slightly off. 18 megahertz is actually back here at that position there. So we're going to adjust C40, which is the second one down, second capacitor, trimmer. So we get him and try and get him to a peak here somewhere. And gee, these are very touchy. There he is. So now we've got right on 18 megahertz. We now do the coil, which for band 2, and it is set at 8.5, so 8.5 megahertz. And we go right down the other end, coming up in around there somewhere. There he is. And 8.5 is actually just up there a little bit. Just up. So we now adjust our oscillator coil to get 8.5. There he is. And he's right on. Spot on. 8.5 megahertz. Okay, we now go to band 3. And seeing we're at that end, we will do the low end, which is 3.5 meg. Right. And we set this, now he's down here, so we'll set this at 3.5, and there's your signal right there, and see, that fella's not far off, but he is a little bit. That's right at 3.5 there. So we may be able to, and we will go to this fella. Right. And that's right on 3.5 on the dial down here. Okay, so band 2, we go up the, band 3, sorry, we go right up here to 8, so which is a 7.5 megahertz. So a 7.5 meg, and then we go back up here at 7.5. I'm sorry if this is a little bit boring for you, but I thought you'd be interested in the actual alignment. 7.5, which is there somewhere. Okay. Where are we? 7.5. That should be. There he is. He's just... He's a fraction off. So we'll just adjust him a little bit. C41. So we go C41, which is this fella in here. And we adjust him to bring us in line with our station, which is right, pretty close to there. And that is exactly on 7.5. You'll probably get the parallax error with the camera, but that's what he is. Okay, band 4, seeing we're at the high end of the band 4, we do 3.5 megahertz. Okay, now 3.5 on this is up here. So we'll go up here and see, can we see the meter there and find 3.5. And that should be pretty close to, there he is. Right, a little bit off. He's a little bit high, so he's just got to come back just to there. Right. Now, we'll adjust for 3.5. We adjust EC10 which is sorry, C42. What am I thinking? Okay. Okay. Let's align him there, and there he is. Right there. So he's right on, 3.5. We then spear up to the other end of the dial, and we'll be going 1.5 megahertz, which is also the top end of the broadcast band. It's 1500 Ks, so we'll go down here to 1.5, which is where my finger is there, and we should see movement there, and there he is. Okay, so we're a little bit past. We're actually 1.5 is actually up there. So for 1.5 we adjust L15, which is this fella here, and bring him back into line. Yeah. There he is. Right, that's done. Now, we're on band 4, so the top end is, we've done our 3.5. That's correct. Okay. This is really hard, looking at the camera, organising what's going on here, and trying to concentrate on the radio. I'll get used to this eventually. Band 5, which is our broadcast band. Okay, bottom end is, we adjust for 560 kilohertz. So we go down here for 560, which is 50, 60 is right there. We go for 560 kilohertz, and I see the signal is pretty close. Very close there. In fact, don't have to move that. Okay, you guys know the procedure with broadcast band. We go to the other end at 1400. So we're set of 1400 kilohertz, and we'll go back up here until we get to 1400. So 1400 is in around there somewhere, and I can see the needle moving. 1400 is actually right there. Right, and we will adjust C43 to pull him into line. I mean, you can go backwards and forwards with this, but normally in these receivers, it's not really necessary. Okay. And we're smack on 1400. If we want to have a listen, that sounds pretty good to me. So there we go, peoples. There's our oscillator alignment with dial alignment, station alignment, whatever you want to call it, complete. The next bit is our RF alignment to peak our signals, and we'll start it now. So let's have a look at what we've got to do there. Right, guys, just getting used to what's got to be done here. We're adjusting two things at once. We're adjusting the aerial trimmer and the mixer trimmer. as well as the aerial coil and the mixer coil. Now, this here is what we're doing. We're starting right here, and we're adjusting C7, C25. Then we go to the higher end of the band, and we adjust L6 and... Oh, that's 11. Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking at it in the camera, but yeah. Okay, so that's L11. So we adjust 2 at once here. So anyway, we're at 1400. We adjust in here at 1400, C7 and C25. So we've got C7 in here. C7, and as you can see, we peak the meter, right? And C25 in here. This is your actual mixer. The first one was the aerial, or the RF, first RF, and this is your mixer. And okay, he's peaked. Now, I think we'll go through and do... No, we might... No, we'll do it as per what we were doing. We'll go to 560 kilohertz. And we'll go way down the other end. I won't... we'll try and do this a little bit quicker. 560... 560, you will see the meter, there he is, 560 kilohertz. Okay, let's peak him out with the coil. Okay, so I'm guessing now L6 and L11. L6 is this one. Excuse me. And we peak him out. Right there. And this fella. Done. Okay. Now, we'll go to band 4. And band 4, we do, seeing we're down the bottom end, we'll do the coils. So we go to 1.5 meg. And we find him on our dial. There he is. And now we peak the next lot of coils here. Gained a little bit there, just a little bit. And a little bit more there. Just go backwards and forwards on these, just peaking, but yep, we're right there. So now we'll do the 2 trimmers on the other end of the dial, which is at 3.5 meg. So we spear this back up to 3.5. There he is there. And we now adjust our trimmers. And the trimmers are, I'm just making sure here, C6 and C24. So we're on C6 here. And C24. A little bit tight to initially crack, and then you can't find the slot in the screw. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to go and keep going here with the coils on the bottom end of the band peaking, and the caps, trim caps at the higher end of the band, peak them. On the rest, there's no sense in showing, as I've showed initially, what we're doing here, working our way up here, and then we'll come back. Okay, guys. Well, I've finished all the rest of the alignment as per the book. This set is operating absolutely. It's absolutely incredible. What a lovely machine. Now, well, I can give you a little bit better look here. We're actually on doing an alignment there at, well, just a check of the alignment on 1 kilohertz in the middle of the dial, and it is spot on. And that signal there is half a microvolt. If I go up to 1 microvolt, which is there, as you can hear, that's on 1 microvolt. Pretty impressive, actually. Very impressive. All right, you've heard enough of that. Not much else to do on this. I do have to adjust a little tear in the speaker, so we'll just record that, and then we can consider this job done, I would say. I have been through and checked most of all the voltages on the transistors. They're all exactly spot on. They're exactly what they should be. So I'm not going to bore you with that. There's no sense in doing that. So okie doke, we will come back and we'll do the speaker, and I'd say we can wrap this video up. Right, well, here we are at the speaker, and as you can see, there's a couple of cracks. Yeah, there's one there, there's evidence of one there, one there. So we'll just put some little dabs of liquid electrical tape. Didn't see the other cracks until I sort of cleaned up in around here, got all the dust out of it. So we'll do that now. Okay, guys. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what I use for doing this. Great stuff. Available from most good electrical stores, or J-Car, I think, in Australia have it. So we'll open him up. And that looks good. Okay, we'll leave him for a little bit to dry, and then we can start putting this unit back together. Okay, guys. Well, speaker. Yes, he's all dry and looks good, actually. A little bit of a string there. No, he's gone. Just off the glue. Now, there was, I don't know whether you remember, there was a red cap. That fella there, he was down, and he's C81. He's a 350 mic. It's only a low voltage thing on a voltage rail, 16 volts. I put a 25 volt 470 in. That's what I had. That will do the job fine. There's also another little cap up in there, which is C82, which is on the rail of the RF line for these transistors and the AGC circuitry. So I thought I'd change him as well. He looked pretty sus. It's a little 10 mic, and the end of him. And actually, I pulled him out, and he reads open circuit. So it's just on a B plus rail. Well, obviously a minus rail, but yeah, it's still a rail. So I've changed those. Now I did a modification here because nothing, absolutely nothing, will fit these aerial sockets. They're not 4mm, they're about, I don't know what they are, about 2.8, I think. So I drilled the centre out and put in a little banana socket, which is a lot easier to connect the wire to than trying to poke it into these things. Probably don't, the earth's there if you want to use it, but that's the other modification I did, which is that fella. Okay, that's all I've done. Okay, it's time to put him back in the case and see how he looks and turn him on. Okay guys, there she is, all put back together. We have the ABC down this end, and as you know, in my workshop here, must get myself an outside aerial, mustn't I? Doing this gear. If we get up here, there's just so much interference with everything, but we'll get up towards our local radio station of 1089, and there she is. And we don't want too much of that either. So there we go. It is working quite nicely, and that's about it for the radio stations in here. A lovely piece of gear, fully aligned, everything is working. I might take him for a run tonight and put an aerial on him outside and check out our shortwave. But yeah, at the moment in here, we can go to, we'll go in around 20 meg. We'll have a listen. It's only rubbish. Not much at all. It's just way too much interference in here. Anyway, what I want to show you, the casualty list. Here we go. We've got to have a casualty list. I forgot about this on the last couple of ones. There we go. There's our casualties. A couple of transistors and a few caps. And that got this old girl going as good as new. Well, I don't know about as good as new, but yeah, she's pretty spot on. Okay, guys, that about wraps it up for this one anyway, and I hope you have enjoyed the experience with this and maybe learnt something from it. I certainly have learnt a lot about this particular unit, and if you've got one of these or one very similar, this series may help you a little bit, but yeah, it was just a really great exercise. So we'll put an end to this, and we better get cracking on the next radio. The next one's a bit of a surprise, so yeah, we'll start him up very shortly. Okay, until next time, it's bye for now.